Welcome to Whahappen, the podcast where we talk about our latest chismes,
or gossip for you non-Spanish speaking folks,
crazy travel stories, hood memoirs, and food and wine.
This is an adult podcast,
so some of our topics may make our listeners a wee bit uncomfortable.
Listener discretion is advised.
And if you're of legal drinking age,
grab a glass of wine
or a beverage of your choice and enjoy the show. Hi, everyone. This is Lala.
And this is Richmo.
And you're listening to Whahappen. And I know a lot of shit has happened since the last time we recorded.
Should I give everybody the short version of the epic journey up to where we are now? It's kind of like...
You have a short version of it?
Well, I mean, it's not really a short version, but...
Let's start from the beginning. So maybe... It's a storytelling time right now. So from the last time we recorded, it was probably after Thanksgiving, into early December, and I was so busy dancing. Well, rehearsing. I wanted to. No, sorry, my feathers are back there, and he's.
I can see him. Oh, no, he walked away.
He's ruffling my feathers.
Yeah, for sure. Like really ruffling your
feathers. For reals, literally. Yeah, so anyway, I had a back injury. And it was so bad that Rich had to take me to the emergency because I really thought I was going to have to call the ambulance and take me because it was that bad. So then I had that, and then
I was
kind of out of commission because I was in such extraordinary amount of pain, and I couldn't move like at all. And then after that, they were like, "Hey, by the way, we can do your surgery." And for all of you guys who have been following us in the past, and maybe for those who haven't, I've been wanting to get a tubal ligation, and so it's already been fucking like 8 months. So like, yeah, they were like, yeah, so then now you have surgery, and and then after surgery, now I'm like on strict bed rest, like I can't move, I can't do anything because they were like, yeah, you're kind of like glued together like Humpty Dumpty. So
stop.
Yeah, and then the cherry on top is then I got COVID right after that as well. So basically that's kind of bringing us
about
up.
Well, there's one other thing. We were actually planning. So leading up to this, we were planning on doing a show of Folklorico with Lala being in the show for a Christmas show. And what happened was all that other shit preceded that. And so she's now fucked up from her back. Is she doing this operation? So she's like on meds and can't dance. And all of a sudden the show that we were going to the end special that we were going to do with having her dance and kind of going over that, she couldn't do because obviously her back and other issues. And so there you go.
That's
why we've been kind of a lot of issues. So that kind of set us back a little bit. So we were kind of like taking a breath because I think for myself and probably for Lala, like, and this is what I want to, these are the questions I'm going to be asking now, is like leading up to this, I was kind of worried that she might have to cancel her samba thing. And I don't know how that went, but we're going to find out.
So on top of that, I was doing a GoFundMe, which I had mentioned before, to raise money to basically fulfill my dream of dancing on a goddamn float down the passerella of Carnaval in Rio de Janeiro. And yeah, I was kind of concerned, and I think well, also I had like blood tests done and like all this stuff, like medical. I had so many medical problems. And procedures. I got poked and prodded and squeezed and you know, just everything. And anyway, yeah.
Probably not the kind of squeezing you like, but you know, folks.
No, they're like, by the way, you need a mammogram due again. And I'm like, oh. And they're like, and your blood levels are elevated. And so now we have to do ultrasound and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So anyway, um, yeah. But you know, I was just literally the day before I left, I had to have an ultrasound done on my internal organs just to make sure that I didn't have any kind of
What?
internal.
What? Slippage from the surgery? Like, oh, we might have like transfixed. I
No,
mean, like,
because
I don't know.
my blood levels showed like elevated levels of I don't know what. I mean, it's a bunch of like codes and shit. But they say that it could be due to um like internal like bacterial something going wrong or something going wrong with my
In
liver. I don't
blood?
know, there's some kind
Um,
of something. But they checked all my organs and to make sure that I didn't have any kind of like pus or any kind of things that could go wrong in your internal organs that might be, detrimental to you staying alive.
I mean, that's
So,
kind of the weirdest call to get from anybody. I mean, I've never gotten a doctor where like, oh, let's just check
well,
your
because I
internal
just had
organs.
surgery.
Yeah,
And so
I guess that's
there's
it.
a higher probability of introducing external bacteria into your internal organs is basically
Mm,
what that is.
wow.
But yeah, everything came back normal according to the ultrasound. And I kind of now think of it as because I was so stressed, maybe because I was stressing so much that probably that's what caused my because like I get my blood drawn, and it's never had issues. It's always been like super duper normal. So this was
Mm,
kind of like, holy shit. And I just had
wow.
surgery and, I just got COVID. And so they're just kind of like, fuck, we're just trying to make sure
Well,
that all your organs are functioning.
before you get on a float, because
Well, this
that would,
literally was the day before I was about to leave to Brazil. And so I was just like,
oh,
well,
stars.
I mean, fuck it.
Wow. I don't know. I thought this time around I might interview Lala, like interview her, and give everybody the kind of like because in our conversation I probably know a lot of things that you guys all don't. Like, how long have you been dancing, and like where did it all start, and like what fascinated you with dancing? Because what I want to find out, and like when did you recognize samba or as something that you wanted to do? At what point was that?
Okay. So in
That's a
terms
loaded
of
question.
samba. Okay. Okay. Because when you said dancing, I'm like, well,
Well,
dancing's pretty
it's-
broad.
well,
But in
how long
terms
have
of
you been dancing for?
samba, well, professionally or just period?
I mean,
Okay.
I've been dancing my whole life, but professionally.
Probably since like 2010-ish,
Mm.
8-ish, 10-ish. I don't know. Something around there. Around that time is when I kind of got introduced into the
The possibility of actually doing it for money.
yes, precisely. Thank you.
Uh,
And how I basically got introduced to samba was I got my son enrolled into capoeira, and so I did capoeira with him. And in one of the bachizados, which is where you get your belts, they have like various different kinds of classes and blah blah blah, and you can be ex and take classes with various instructors from Brazil that come over and, teach their variations of either capoeira or candomblé or samba or whatever. And so I took a class and I was like, ooh, I really like this. And so then I joined a group based out of Long Beach and started dancing. And back then, it was called Sambala. Um,
Bambala.
Sambala.
Mm.
And then Yeah, so I
Not
started
Sambalala, but Sambala La.
samba. Like
Sambalala.
Samba LA.
Wow, that's good. That's gonna be your new group, your new group, Sambalala. Anyway,
So, I mean, but that's when I just kind of got introduced and I the person who was teaching the class was her name is Valeria. And so she's the one that was just like, oh my God, you can do this. And da, 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 da. I don't know. She just saw something in me and she just really took me under her little wing, one of those feathered wings
under
back there.
feathers.
Under her
She
like
took me
little
under her
feathered,
feather.
under her feathered wing. And yeah, and then just basically taught me from how to put on your tights and tie your tights to your thong and just like little she got
Like
real
that's a
personal up in there. Like this is how you tie your thong to your tights. And I was like, okay.
wow. I
But
mean, I guess there's a lot of little details that a lot of people don't realize. When a performer goes to perform, it's they don't just put their stuff on. You got to really prep for any dancer or any performance show. And I think a lot of that's kind of lost in the wind with an audience because they're just seeing the
the
byproduct,
final
the after.
product,
Yeah,
yeah,
they don't see all the rehearsal. They don't see all the tying to your thong type of situation before, they don't know the struggles, so to speak. But
oh my God, yeah, like taping your nipples, because like your samba outfits, sometimes, your
we're
nipples
very
can
revealing.
pop out, and be like, hey, what's up?
Hello, I
And
want to
maybe
see the
want to come
world.
out and say hi to like, people that, you know, shouldn't be looking. So
I
yeah,
mean,
so
I guess
little things.
in a performance setting, it happens more often than not, and it's just like whatever, you kind of move on. But you don't kind of see those things often, but it does happen. I mean,
It has
not to
happened.
say like there's high profile events, Janet Jackson at Super Bowl. Should we say no? I was that on purpose? Now, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's happened to me. Um, and then, when I turn around, I'm always kind of just checking. And so I don't know, just like when things happen to you, then you learn how to check your costume for malfunctions or possible malfunctions. You wiggle in it, just make sure that you're secure.
And and recover, right? What did they teach you? And this is how you recover. Don't panic. Recover, and keep going.
Well,
Like, what do you do?
you do everything very smoothly,
Hmm.
basically. Just kind of like very covert.
The day before you have the sonogram, you're fine. You're getting ready to go, and now you're on your way to the
Sonogram. Oh,
airport.
the ultrasound.
Oh, the ultra. Did I say mammogram,
You
ultrasound?
said
I don't know what
sonogram.
the sonogram, ultrasound. I don't know. Isn't that sound? I don't. Did I? So you're all checked out. Doctor says you're free to go, or you got
They
the cream de
said
la
they will
ha.
contact me if I have any problems, but I had already my flight booked. So I was like, well, I'll be in Brazil, but yeah, you can feel free to leave me a message on my health portal because we have like a health portal that you can log on to, and then they can leave you messages, and then you can actually check all of your results, lab results, etc. that you get done. So they were like, okay, well, we'll just yeah, contact you. And I'm like, cool, I'll be in Brazil. So just leave me a message in the health portal and I'll check it when I'm available.
Okay, so we're going to Brazil now, and you get to the airport. You're on the plane. What are you thinking? Because after all this time, this is something that you've always wanted to do. So, like, the lead into getting the tickets and sorting it out and
Well,
maneuvering. There's a lot of minutia going on here because you got to get the tickets, you got to get
so the
the place
tickets.
to stay.
Let's talk about these tickets. I have I'm very lucky to have a friend who shout out to who his name is also Richard. Um, but he hooked it up with the buddy pass. which means that I'm on standby flights. But it's at a very, very much reduced rate. And so, I mean, if you're willing to, put
Risk
yourself
it.
through the probability that you may or may not get on a flight. Yeah. So anyway, I got on the first flight from LA to Atlanta, which was my first connection. And then when I got to Atlanta, we were delayed because of something, whatever. So I get there, I have to run from one terminal to another. And then I'm like running, running, and they're like, oh, você Laura. And I'm like, see, so loud. They're already speaking to me in Portuguese. And then they're like, oh, seu passaporte. So I showed my passport. Literally, they were about to close the door once again. It's one of
Wow.
those stories. Yeah. But I got in, and then it was just like, whew, okay. Um, yeah. So that was a very fun filled day.
Trip.
And I mean, and it's just
How many
like
hours is it from Atlanta to Brazil? Is that like a nonstop
it's like
or?
an 8 hour.
Wow, that's a big one. That's a nice long flight.
Yeah,
So you were on a plane for 12 hours
yeah,
because it's from four
basically.
hours from here to Atlanta and
Yes,
then
and then I had
eight
stayed
to.
up pretty much until the wee hours packing and making sure I had everything and da 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 da. Which you, of course, you always forget something.
Of course, she leaves on the day of the Los Angeles storm,
Oh
like the
yeah,
day of the storm started.
I forgot
So it's
about
just
that.
like, "Hmm."
Yeah, and then like Rich is like, we might be swimming there.
Yeah, no, it was raining a lot, but all is well. So you get to Brazil and so what's the first I like what was your you
Mm.
12
Well,
hours
first
later? Yeah.
when I arrive, I'm waiting, in the carousel to get my, check-in bag, and it's not there.
What?
So, I mean, luckily I had arrived so early, and the next girl was not gonna arrive until 9. So I literally had like 3 hours to figure out where the fuck my luggage was at. And yeah, come to find out, they had sent it to Sao Paulo, which I was in Rio.
Wow. I just put it on a different plane or
Well,
what?
because I literally ran in. Remember, I said I
Ah,
ran into the flight. And so, what they do with standby luggage, which has this pretty little green tag that says standby, they put that one in last. So, what they
ah,
did was put it in the one going to Sao Paulo. So, at least it's in Brazil.
I see, I see, I see.
Mhm.
So how long did it take for you to get your luggage? So that's like another treasure hunt. Like, what if this is my luggage?
So, what I had brought was only stuff for that weekend.
Oh my
Because,
stars.
I was banking on, I'm probably gonna buy because you have to purchase shirts and different dresses for the samba school that you're gonna be dancing for, whatever the events that are gonna be happening. So I literally just took stuff for that weekend, which now I
Wow.
didn't have because they didn't give me my bag. I didn't get it until Monday. And I landed there Friday. Yeah, Friday.
So you had a whole weekend, the weekend of the clothes that you had planned to use
Yep, the
for the
weekend of
weekend,
the clothes
as
that I
now,
brought for
oh,
the weekend that I was
is
not
no
able.
longer there. Oh
So
my stars.
now, um, I'm borrowing Valeria's clothes. And actually I ran into, I didn't know, Melissa, who dances, well, danced with me at Raiz Brazil, at that dance company. She was there. And I mean, I had seen a Melissa, in our group chat and our WhatsApp, but I didn't think it was that Melissa. So we ran into each other at the airport, and I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, she was there with her sister, and her sister was just tagging along just to like come and see the things and experience. And so, luckily, their collaborative work provided me with
Got you through the
some
weekend.
clothes. Oh, and actually, when I spoke to the person, the representative from the airline, they said, well, you have like up to like $50 that you can go buy stuff. So I actually did go to the store, but I have to like submit receipts and then get reimbursed, etc. So,
So what was the energy like in the city when you arrived there? Like, has
I
everybody
mean,
gearing up for like this carnival?
when I
Like
got
everybody
there,
from all
it
over the
was
world
actually
goes there,
pretty
right?
sleepy. It wasn't
Ah,
so crazy because I arrived there about a week before. And so most people don't arrive that early unless, so it wasn't so crazy. But as the days progressed and then more girls started coming in because it was like a trickle of like 10 people who came in. But it was just like over the course of a week. And so when we had to go pick up the latter portion of the last people that showed up, it was like jam packed. It was full, everything like it was just yeah.
everything's going crazy in the city.
Yeah, it definitely filled up super fast towards the closer it got to the actual date of Carnaval.
Mm. Let me ask you, what was your first meal? What is your, I always want to know. I mean, I'm like a food person, but like, is there something that when you got there, you're like, I definitely have to have this and this kind of drink and this kind of food, and I have to like something that you would like enjoy. Like, if you're to go to Brazil tomorrow, like this is what we're having, this is what we're gonna eat, and this is what we're gonna drink. So
Okay,
what was
so
that?
actually a
Doesn't have to
very
be fancy.
it's not a no, I'm just letting you know what it is. But it's not a Brazilian dish. Um, everybody was tired and I kind of was just like I had drank some coffee, so I was like, I had a second win. And so Valetti's like, well, do you want to meet up with my uncle and aunt, to have lunch? And I'm like, sure. So I went to have like kind of like an Italian style mix of mussels, shrimp, octopus, kind of, like
Oh, kind of like a like Italian mariscos kind of thing.
yeah, but Italian. In
Mm,
Portuguese it's called mexerão or mexida, something like
mm.
that. Anyway, yeah, so it was something like that. And then I just had like we met up with one of her friends and he had brought a just like a white bubbly. And so that was it was not
Champagne and seafood. Okay,
yeah. And I mean it
why
was
not?
dude, honestly, that dish, it was oh God. Oh my God. It was like I have to say one of the best dishes I ate in the entire time that I was there. It was
The
just
first
that,
dish, the first lunch. Wow.
dude. It was just killer. Just savor wise, like flavor wise, just everything. It had it going on. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was nothing typical of like a Brazilian dish. It was just kind of
Mm.
like,
I was just wondering. I mean, it didn't
just
have to be a Brit. It's like, who knows? You might have said it's like, I would have been surprised. It's like, yeah, I had a euro or, I don't know. There are a lot of people out there like that are tourists that like go to other countries and they search out food that they're comfortable with, like I wouldn't go to Brazil and have a hamburger. I'm sure I could if I want, you can find that easily or a hot dog, but
mm,
like
I tried. It was
that's
sadly disappointing. But yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not what
I
I
guess it
think of.
just depends on where you go to. It's just they definitely have a lot of fried food and their food is much more saltier than what I'm accustomed to.
You get there, you get acclimated. What was your first practice or
Well, we go to various feijoadas. So a feijoada is kind of like un caldo de res meets sopa de frijoles, you know?
wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, for should we say that in English?
Oh,
So for people that don't know what a caldo de res is, beef stew
beef
and
stew.
bean soup.
Yes, it's kind of just married together. And then they add this powder called farofa, which is like a salty breaded thing you add on top. And then they also have like collard greens, but not like American collard greens. Like these are actually good. Sorry for those folks
These
that
are
like
actually
American collard
good.
greens. I prefer the Brazilian made ones. They have just more flavor and they're not overcooked. They're just beautifully delicious.
Mm.
So, yeah, we went to a feijoada, which is basically kind of like a way for them to raise money for the samba school. And then you
So they're
go,
like,
and then you get to see some of the performances by, some of the court, basically. It's considered like a court, like there's kings, queens, princess, so it's the courts.
and
And
where do you
so
fall in the line? You're
where
a
I'm at the
queen?
bottom of the court.
No,
No,
no, that's good.
at the
Like,
bottom.
so basically, you got to do that for years to be recognized in the court
I,
system
I, I
to kind of
honestly,
rise to
I
the
would
top.
have to learn what the court system is. Maybe like, I don't
A lot of
know,
politicking, a lot of politicking. Oh my
probably on
God.
the lower end of the court.
Wow.
Whatever
A
that
court,
is,
a
if anybody.
samba court, samba
Yeah.
court. So you went to a bunch of like fundraising events in preparation to the big event. So is this
Yes. And
happening
then
all
we
over the
had to
city?
be presented also. So each samba school begins with a community. So basically, what it is a community in Brazil that gets together, that has enough people that get together to start a samba school, is essentially what it is. And so
Mm,
because we were considered kind of we had to be introduced to the community. And so we had to go up on stage, which I didn't know what was going to happen. And then
oh my,
I was just like,
like
this isn't.
it's like a ball for samba. It's like, and then here are the ladies from the Americas, and we're presenting
Yes.
you.
And basically like
Welcome.
considered like kind of like the top students. And so that's what kind of introduced like that. And so, you know, you try to make a good impression and to go on stage and not, but it's kind of,
Wait,
but
did you have your outfit on? Did you have a outfit or the
well,
outfit
no,
that you?
yes, and that's what I'm saying, that by that time I had, because I told you that we were gonna have to purchase certain dresses,
Mm,
etc., to go to
mhm.
these events, and so that's why I had brought in, stuff for the weekend because we were just gonna do like, little things here and there and go out and stuff. But for the events, yeah, we had, dresses, specific dresses that, we wore and shirts and tops, etc. But no, we were in our dress. And so then, we had to go on stage, which was I mean, if I would have known, I could have mentally prepared, but in Brazil, it's kind of you work on Brazil time,
Mm.
you
Is it
know.
kind of like, you get up there, stay as long as you.
No, it's just, things just happen when they happen. Not I mean, it's not like German time. German time, if it says that it's at 1300 hours, it starts at 1300 hours. But when you work in Brazil time, it's just
It's about that time, come in. What's the
roundabout
one with
plus
the?
or minus 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Oh
Who
wow,
knows?
that kind of wow.
So who
That's kind of
knows?
a big swing.
Yes, like I said, it's Brazilian time.
Were there other groups from other countries, much like yourself, going and being introduced in that setting? Like,
Well, our group was composed of people from different countries.
oh wow,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
So, so your group had like you're like an international group then. That's kind of
Well,
cool.
it was just she put it together. And I'm talking about Valeria, and now her school is called Rio Bella, and she's based out of Florida. But she invited, her people down in Florida who she teaches, but she extended it to us here in California via Raiz Brazil with Jonia, because like
Mm.
the samba world, believe it or not, it can be kind of small. And then through that, we got the Seattle connection because there was this girl who started Heights Brazil Seattle. And then I don't know how the girl from Bulgaria got in there, but somehow she was in there too. And so it's just like it's because the samba world, some people move and change and go to different places. And so
Bulgaria.
it's
Wow.
yeah. So, yeah.
When you're presented up, did you guys didn't have to dance or did you have to do some
Yes,
dancing like?
that's exactly what we had to do.
Oh, so was it just like you introduced the girls and here you are and hi, my name is and tell me something about
No, none
yourself?
of
It's like
none of the
this
girls
is
speak Portuguese. I was actually the only one that can speak chopped up Portuguese. So even
so
if
you
they
were
did
you're
do that, like it.
so you weren't actually speaking with words, you were speaking with your
Nope,
dance,
with your feet
with your
and your
feet. Nice,
hips
nice, nice.
and your
And your hips.
arms and your body movements, which
So do you have
is this is how
are
you
there
communicate in the samba world.
how many events did you have to attend like that? Was it just one, two, three, four?
It was several. But in between there also, because we went with Valeria as a package, and so she kind of wanted us to, like also incorporate things that we wanted to do, like, hey, do you guys want to go check this out or that or whatever? And so, we did do a lot of non-samba related things, and
So that's
so.
great. So it wasn't all work. It wasn't like,
No,
but
but it
the
was
samba.
definitely constantly we were doing something. So it was just kind of like, oh, we get home and I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired. Let me go to sleep because
Oh
tomorrow is
wow.
another fun-filled day.
So out of all those schools, like just so that people understand samba, is samba just one style or are there like different styles of samba, like different movements, or is it kind of like a basic kind of movement or like
There's different
because I know you
styles
have
of
core
samba,
item,
definitely.
you
For
know.
example, the samba style that I know about, I haven't been introduced to others besides the Rio. So,
Mm.
which is the samba no pé, which you're very posed. You dance on your tippy toes and you do all your movements down below, but your head, you don't jump up and down, you maintain. And so it's all about posture. And then you look like you're just gliding through, but there's all kinds of shit going down below. You know what I mean? But up here in your face,
From
because you
your
have a
waist
giant
down, you're shaking
headpiece.
your ass. You're just
But
like
your
trying to keep
headpiece
that
and your
afloat.
head maintains the same. So it's kind of like the opposite of the bobblehead, where in the bobblehead only the head moves. Well, if
Mm.
you were to do the opposite, the head stays straight and the rest of the bottom is the one that moves.
So a samba bobblehead would be the head's
It
static and everything
stays,
else is
yeah,
going.
everything else is moving down below.
I wonder if we can ever find that a samba bobblehead where it's the opposite.
Yeah. So it
Oh,
would be bobble
interesting.
body,
Bobble body. That's right.
not
Oh
bobblehead, bobble
man.
body.
What
So I
was
mean, there's
like
there's various different kinds. And then per region, and so it just it really does vary, like, a
so
lot.
it's much like folklorico where and I'll bring this back because Lala's a folklorico dancer. There are different regions
Mexican
in Mexico.
folklorico, yeah.
In Mexican folklorico, there's so many styles and so many regions and so many, everybody's
Yes,
got their own
exactly
dance.
how there's various regions of Mexico and we have many types of dances with um very different costumes, and it's the same thing
What do you think was
basically.
the most difficult thing for all the like, is there a common struggle for all the dancers out there? Like, is it getting the headpiece on? What is the hardest part about your preparation right before you dance? Like, is there some like because you guys have all these headpieces and the feathers, like, is it something about the costume where you need a buddy system, like, you know what I'm saying? Or is it
Actually,
like can
you
you do it all
do.
yourself?
You do. Because the back pieces that we had, it was pretty wide. And so in terms of movement, arm movement, you're once you put on that back piece, and then you have to put on your feathers on the back piece, your arm movement can't raise any higher than, parallel with what. And so even if you want to wave high, you have to kind of like maneuver. And then we have these giant headpieces. And so yeah, there's definitely a buddy system because if you put on your headpiece, you can't be looking down, but then once you put this on, you can't reach your headpiece. So you definitely need somebody there to help you and then strap you on and make sure that you're not moving, that when you move, nothing shifts and falls off, you know.
Oh wow.
And and then to
The pad
climb to climb onto the float, you basically just climb like work ladders, like construction work ladders.
oh,
And you're
I
just
start with all that stuff. Well, your arms are right here, so how do you do that?
no, I mean you climb,
You
but
just
you
like,
have like this just, you
oh
just
my, you watch the locals do it, like the Brazilians that live there. Oh, we do this all the time. I mean, there's like a technique.
well, no, there is no, you just deal with it. You're
Oh wow.
hitting your feathers on people's faces and you're just and then you're trying to squeeze into little
I
spaces when your body size is tripled.
all right.
You know what I mean?
I want
So
yeah. I want to know that if this is the unfortunate part of like your preparation and after you get it, how many of these girls didn't go to the, like, it's like if you have to pee or something like right before, like I'm sure that happened, right? Like somebody's like, I gotta take this off, I gotta panic.
So we had a preparation course. So one of the girls who is part of that course system,
I
she's
knew
like a
it.
princesa or something. She came and just basically taught us how to, because in the samba world, you have to learn to travel. That is actually what's instilled in us is how to travel with the samba step and walk and do da da da. But when you're in a float, you literally have a square to dance on, and then you have a metal thing that you hold on to for dear life. And so, she's taught us how to do movements and how to move within this space. But and included in that class was, and if you really can't hold it, so you put your legs together and you kind of come down, da, 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 and you just pee on yourself. And then that's just part of the show must go on. Because this is
Oh my
this
stars. Well, there
is
you
a
go.
competition between several samba schools. So this is a fucking competition, and people need to remember this. This is a competition.
Oh
So
wow. I wasn't even thinking about that, but wow, that I guess that was the show must go
you
on.
asked it,
Uh,
I answer.
no, I was just thinking, like what, like people out here when you go skiing, it's just like before you put on all your ski clothes, you just want to go to the bathroom so that you're not out in the mountain going like because it's a hassle. But I would imagine that
No, I
like
mean we did, but once that shit comes on, that forget it. You're
yeah,
you're
forget
just
it, you're
locked
done.
into it, and then there's nowhere to go. There's just, you're just locked into that. And so,
Mm.
yeah.
No after party for you. You're going straight to back to get your feathers taken off if that has to happen to you. But so like preparation you get like is there any other preparation that you got from any princesses that like were telling you how to dance in your square and everything? What's the lead
Yeah.
up to the actual
The
flow? How
most
many
important
like
thing is to convey. They said, okay, yes, this is a competition. Yes, but this is Carnaval. And so you have to display, not have to, but you have to enjoy it. Because in order for you to display it in your face and your facial expressions and your body movements is to really just fucking enjoy it. And that's what they said. They said, most importantly, this is Carnaval. Enjoy it. Because
Enjoy
yes, it's
this.
a competition, and yes, there's judges that are judging you. But they're like, but you are not going to display that fervor, that fierceness, that happiness, that joy, because you have to be singing the song the entire time that you
Oh,
are going through the pasarela. So it's about what, like an hour and a half or something. You're just singing the song, and and you have to display and you have to go with the lyrics. So the lyrics are saying something. Your body movements have to go with the lyrics and what the lyrics are saying, and you have to really just give it your 100%. And but you can only do your 100% if you're really enjoying yourself and just fucking happy to be there. And so they're like, if
hmm
you just enjoy Carnaval, you automatically are already portraying so much of what the judges want to see, which is the enthusiasm, the fierceness, the screaming, dancing, it's just they don't want to see somebody just like,
yeah, like just
bobbling.
winging it.
you know,
Babo
not
samba.
not really just displaying any it's about displaying emotion and happiness and
So
so
how did you personally like prepare for that mentally? Because I mean, and I was quite honestly worried, and I was like, okay, I for myself was worried that because you did have a back injury from over exerting yourself because you were training too hard, and that was kind of scary. And for me, all I was doing was just praying and putting energy out so that none of that would come back because this is your like time. So, what did you do mentally to prepare, like mentally and physically? Did like stretch out? Like, I don't know, is there like certain movements that you do in practice and keep going? Can you share that with folks? Like,
so
because I'm sure it's
I'm
different for everybody.
mhm. I'm very a very big stickler of stretching and warm-ups. Definitely. So what I was doing was just kind of like just and it's not like you don't have to do like a full yoga session. You just have to do just basic stretches of all of your um body parts basically. But mine in particular, what I was having problems with was like the sciatic nerve, and so the long like the muscles behind your leg, like the long ones stretching from your back to your legs. And so I just did a lot of like downward dog. That is an excellent way of stretching that portion from your back to your ankles, like it stretches all of that. And so I mostly did a lot of that, but also before doing any kind of samba, I usually do warm-ups, definitely, because you don't want because if your body's not warmed up, it is most likely to get yourself injured because then, your body's not ready to do that movement. If you go from being still to just like try to do these acrobatic movements, then yeah, of course you're gonna have kinks and you're gonna like your back stiffens or whatever, So definitely I am a big and I know a lot of people that don't do that and have never done that, and they say that they've never had problems. And so, everybody has a different body, and you just have to know what your body is like and what it can take, and then just how best to treat your body for what you're about to do. And my
Mm,
body requires a lot of stretching
stretching.
and, just like movements before I go all out,
Yeah. Did your group do like a group stretch, or did you guys
Nope,
do like did you guys say a prayer, or did you
nope.
like already girls? Like I don't know, like or did you guys just get ready and there's like showtime because you're out professionals and
We
just like climb up
did
on the float?
on en route to the Sambódromo, because we were at the hotel and we literally our outfits, we got it the night before the day of. And when we tried them on, yeah, like they basically made a one size fits all, and
Oh
one
my
size
stars.
did not fit any of us actually.
Oh,
So, yeah, the day of, we actually had somebody cutting and sewing, and we are literally just like in our
oh.
thongs and just trying these pieces on because none of them fit. And so we were performing that day, and we were the first samba school to open the whole.
Wait a second. This sounds like a conspiracy. Did you guys not get
No,
fitted though?
and
So it
this
was kind of
is,
like
yeah,
the
well,
general thing.
like I
Oh,
said, this is Brazil. You send them information, but we don't know where exactly the information goes to, so you
I'm all
just,
like somebody slept somebody some money at the sewing factory. Oh, just make one size fits all. They're the first ones going.
no,
No, that's Samba conspiracy. No, I
it's
know.
kind of like this is Brazil. I mean, I don't know what else to
Mm.
tell you. And
So
so
like,
on the way, so finally we had most of it worked out so that at least it fits for us to dance in. And so we're heading towards, because we are in our hotel. Then we have like a van that is carrying all of us to the Sambódromo. And
is that the beginning of the parade?
in the
The so beginning.
Sambódromo is where every is the parade. So
Mm.
taking us to where the parade is. Um, then on the way there, we had this song playing full blast, and all of us were just singing it like fully, da da da, just to get us like prepped up and pumped up. But when we arrive, we have to be there, like 2 hours before it starts. So you kind of just, you know, um, we
Oh
ate a
wow.
lot of, we ate, just had snacks and just, but just waited. And then like, had a little bit of like water, and then made sure like we peed before we had to put on
Got
our,
dressed. Mm.
yeah.
So you made a lot of new friends and the connections with this group because there are
Oh
a
my
lot of new
God.
friends you met, right?
Yes,
Because this sounds like a
definitely.
like really trying, like last second, everybody becomes a tailor and fitting stuff and helping each other out to get, your
I
group
mean,
going.
I have to say that it can get, it's a lot of women, so it can get catty, you know.
Oh, really?
Yes, of course, it's a bunch of women, and nobody, and everybody's complaining about this and that and this and blah blah, blah. And so you're just kind of like, well, but in the end, like you have to see it as you're not mad at each other. You're just complaining, but not complaining to each other. It's just because it's frustrating. You're like, fuck,
Mm,
we're about to go on, and how the fuck am I gonna wear this? I can't move, and it's gonna burst, it's gonna split open or whatever, and so it's mostly it definitely teaches you like patience
mm,
and not to get upset at how people get upset. They're not upset at you, they're just upset, period. So it has
mm.
nothing to do with you. It just, they're
A
upset.
lot of personalities. A lot of
Yeah.
personalities.
Yeah. A lot.
So did you make
Definitely.
some new friends? Some new
Of
friends from
course.
the group?
Yeah.
Huh? How was that like? Like, did it like, because if there's the ones that complain a lot, then I mean, I guess it's
No,
personalities,
we
right?
all
Or it's just like
complained
everyone.
because none
Ah,
of us fit into our shit. So all of
I
us
would have
had,
fucking complained too, I guess. Could you imagine that? Everybody's got looks like,
well,
what
if
the
you
hell?
can't close your outfit, how the fuck are you gonna wear it? You know what I mean? It's that
Right.
small. We're like, well, I don't know. And so they had to get, sewers to come in and just deal with it. And they
Mm.
had to just like have us try it on. They're like, okay, okay, we're gonna cut here. And then, they did their sprinkle their magic and, got it together so that it
I
at
mean, that's
least
probably
fit
part of the,
for that night.
yeah, that's nice. Wow. I wonder if it's probably part of the like what to expect. We're gonna get a one size fits all, and here's our seamstresses.
I mean, this, and they literally told us, they're like, everybody goes through this. Everybody.
Mm.
Every single fucking school. Even though you give them whatever, that's just part of it.
I guess this is one of those surprises that you maybe
Well,
didn't
no,
expect.
I've already mentioned many times, like in the dance world, and I understand that you are very much in this movie industry, but in the dance world, like we are so used to shit. Just like I said, we've had concerts that they gave us the entire wrong songs to do choreos to it. So then we literally had to make a choreo within 10
Last
minutes
minute.
before,
Wow.
coming on to hundreds of thousands of people. You know what I mean? So it's just, this is just part of the dance world. That's just how
Mm.
it is. That's just, you just get
How
over it
do
and you deal with it.
yeah, comparing this to like, I don't know if you can't compare it to folklorico, but like dancing on the parade in the samba and preparation for it. Is there a little similarities to folklorico? I mean, I know you have the camaraderie and the music and everything, but is there anything that's different about samba versus folklorico as far as like you know, execution? I mean, you had to dance in the square and a float. I mean, it's not like you have a stage or anything. So,
That is the stage. The stage is all the bleachers filled with people, which I don't know how many people fit, but I'm assuming it's hundreds of thousands of people plus the judges. It's still a
mm,
performance. You're still performing.
mm,
So even yes, you are not doing choreo, but you are moving and you are performing and you are, like I said, you had to perform according to the lyrics of the song that you're singing. So
mm,
they're saying, para tu povo, and then you do this because it's all the people, and they're talking
mm,
about that. So then you do movements, or o coração is like your heart. So you want
God,
to do
mm,
movements. You are still performing.
mm.
It's all the same. Performance is performance is performance.
How, let me ask, how long was the performance? How long were you on the float once it started? Was that exciting? Like, can you tell me about
I
like,
mean,
okay, you had to climb the ladder, you're in position,
it
and
was
then the
probably
float
like two
starts to go.
hours.
So 2 hours of dancing nonstop.
Yeah, at least about
Wow.
roundabout. I felt super dehydrated at the end of it. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna faint.
What is the highlight of the parade? Like, is there anything you remember that like, is it the people, the energy?
It's
I'm
the
sure it's
people
like,
and it's the
can you
energy.
tell
Yes.
like, is
Yes.
that what kept you going throughout the whole thing? Like,
Yes, because people are singing and people are taking pictures and you make eye connection. Like that was another thing that they taught us. It's like when you're dancing and you're doing movements and you literally point out, you see somebody get down or whatever on the bleachers, you point out to them, you send them beijos, you're like, and then you sing to them and like that personal connect, you get that personal connection. And
mm,
so then and the people who they go insane, and then returning that energy to you is what gives you the boost to continue for that long. But it
that's a
becomes really
universal thing
fun.
with dancing. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
You get a boost
Yeah.
from the your audience. They're cheering you and then that, and it's really like a huge exchange of energy.
Yeah. I
As
bet.
much as you're giving out, they are returning to you, and therefore you can return it. And so, you know,
Wow.
if you have an audience that doesn't cheer you, actually, that is the most like,
We
even though
talked
you
about
don't
that
do
before. Yeah.
a long performance or even a complicated one, you feel winded and tired because they're just sucking all your energy. They're not giving any back to you. So you end up being super drained after those kind of performances.
So after 2 hours, float stops. What's the end of the parade look like? Because I'm sure all the other, you're the first float, right? So you're the first school to go
And we
out
were like
there.
the second or third float, but from the first samba school. Because each
From this.
school has many floats. They have several. So
Ah. And so what was it like after, like what happens like at the end?
a lot of
Like, what did you do?
screaming, trying to
Oh,
figure out how to get off.
like,
Some were yelling at somebody, and when they speak really fast, I'm kind of like, no idea what you're saying. So we don't know. There's a lot of screaming. We don't know what it was about, but then eventually they made motions. to get off. So at some
Oh, like
point,
ah ah. And then from that point, you guys as a group like stay together and go?
yes.
Is there like after party?
After that, we have it's called like the VIP lounge. And I mean it's you can go, well, we have our team. Well, and this is the thing that I'm have to clarify, I guess. We went as part of the Valeria kind of, she put this together. So she actually got a team to help us, because if you just go on your own, you're on your own. You don't have
Mm,
a team, you don't have a support, you don't have anything. And so
mhm.
she created this to fulfill our dreams, but also so that we're not like, just left to just do whatever. We actually had a team. We had somebody with a van that had our clothes. They were going to bring it to us and da 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 da. This doesn't happen if you don't have, you just
It's
do
a
it.
preparation, yeah.
Yeah, you just do it on your
Wow.
own and you figure shit out. You know what I mean? Like,
So there was an
so
after party, and then you guys were able to
So
dress and take off
part of
your
yes, part of that we paid also for the VIP section, which is like free food, free drinks, and you are literally on one of the stands and it's like you've got couches. I mean, it's just like this super VIP experience. There's like a massage person. You can get like five
massage
minute
your feet,
massages.
5 minute foot massage, or
No, just your back. But we had I
oh
don't know
yeah,
if you
the
see
big.
the big back
Are
pieces.
you gonna
And
share
like
that
I
with
was
us? Are you
already
gonna?
had like bruises all along my arms from like constantly
Ah,
hitting it because you're doing this and you just hit it and then what I mean, you ended up with a lot of bruises. Some girls had cuts from their outfit, like
oh wow,
burns. Yeah, I mean it's your body
a
takes
lot
a
of
lot.
chafing. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. So, you know.
Oh wow. Let me. So for any of those wanting to join a samba dance company and be in the parade, you have any advice for them? Like, what would you do to a future samba dance? Like, what would you say? What would you say? Prepare for this or do that. Like, you know, if you're to do it again next year, like, what advice would you give to someone that wants to do
I
this? Like, where
mean,
do you start?
I don't think that anyone can just go. Like, you have to be part of already a samba school already. You know what I
Mm.
mean? You can't just like, I can't just have like my next door neighbor and be like, hey, I want to be on one of those floats. It's like, do you even dance? I mean, I don't know.
Earn it,
No, I mean,
earn it.
you have to be a dancer. You have
Yeah,
to
you got
be
to
a
be a
samba
dancer.
dancer. So like you already have to be. So you would already be plugged in. I mean, if that's your end goal. I mean, I've been wanting to do this since I first started, and it's like 15 years ago. So like it took me 15 years. So start dancing now so that eventually you can get there.
Wow. So, and it sounds like when you do go, you probably want to have someone like organize it and have a team prepared with your seamstresses if your outfits don't fit, with the bands. And sounds like you had a lot of support out there, and everything was so. Did it make it really smooth? Because I wouldn't want to
Smoother than
imagine that place.
most, for sure.
Yeah. Did you see other groups like in chaos, like that were
No,
not your group?
because we
No.
were all on our own. Like everybody's in their own. The samba schools are from different
No.
locations throughout Rio, like different barrios. It's like
Mm.
basically of Rio. So they're in totally different locations. Like we don't know.
You're done with samba. Carnival's over. Then what do you do? This like did you guys like is this when you got your like group me time? Like, okay, now enjoy like the lead into like organizing you're like being represented, you're going to events to fundraisers, you're in your outfits, you're practicing. Oh yeah, tell me about the how much did you guys practice? Did you guys practice as a group? Because since there were like girls from women's and from all over, like did you guys get in sync pretty quickly or like how did that happen?
Because we're on the float, we don't have like literally we just had to have a instruction how to dance on a float.
Mm.
If had we been dancing on the floor and been part of choreo, then yes. but because we
Mm.
weren't part of that. When you're dancing on the floor, and I mean like walking on the pasarela, we're not walking, we're being pushed on a float.
Wow. Wait, that's right. There are like samba schools where they're just like marching, right?
All of
That's
them
like a
have,
2 hour,
all of them. Dude,
two hours
this is
walking.
a production. Each
Yeah, I know.
samba school has at least 3,000 people. So it's
Oh
3,000.
my,
Yes, it's a big
for
production.
one school. Yeah.
One
Oh my
school.
star.
Yes,
One
one school.
school.
One
And
school.
there are a lot of schools. Yes.
Yes.
Oh wow. So now that you're back, Lala, what's your view on samba? Are you going to bring it back? Are you going to do more samba in LA or samba Lala in LA or like what's going on? What's going on? Like, did this change your outlook on like what you want to do with samba? So I know you dance folklorico. Now, are you going to incorporate more samba into your thing? Is that reinvigorated you?
It really has actually. I kind of had dropped off from samba for about a good year. But it wasn't, it was just more for personal reasons. I had a lot going on. If you guys have been listening to us, I've moved like 1,000 times. And so
Mm.
like, you know, unfortunately my samba dancing suffered because of all of my personal things that I was going through. And so really I only was able to dedicate myself to one form of dancing, which was folklorico. But yeah, definitely after having this experience and then reconnecting with which who I call Valeria, my samba mama. She was the one that brought this vigor and like wanting to dance and just she made it so much fun when I was, first introduced into it and just yeah, she teaches you the basics, but she's like, but you make it your own. Everybody has their own style and you got your own little quirks to it and da da da, The basics are the basics, but you make it yours. You make it your own. So with that being said, she rekindled that after talking to her and then talking to all the different women who come from different backgrounds and different locations and how they and so what I kind of wanted to start was just kind of like a samba fit class where,
Oh, so you're going to have a class.
yeah. And so I'm kind of right now in the works. I haven't even came out with a name or anything, but it's coming soon, like in
Samba
March.
Lala.
No, it's
No, I know.
too no. But yeah, but I want it to be more not in a sense of to be like a professional, like to become, like for that you can just join a samba academy or samba school.
Mm,
But what I want to do more is focus on because what samba is in Brazil is empowerment of women's bodies and
mm,
displaying bodies of different sizes, shapes, colors, everything, backgrounds. There's women of all different shapes, and all of them are beautiful. And so I kind of want to make it a class where, instill a lot of like just or actually break down body shaming, where you have moms, or this is it's just like a class where you can come and you learn how to express yourself. You don't carry yourself, crouched down. You put your chest up and this just giving you self-confidence actually
mm,
is kind of what I want to do is a self-confidence building via samba, which is what it is. It's just you go and you strut your body regardless of what it looks like, and you're confident in it. And that's what it is. So I kind of
mm.
want to have this class just as a like a samba fit. Anyone can join from, they're 60 or, 30 years old or
But that's
whatever.
great. I mean, you're kind of contributing to the samba movement and you're doing something good for the community and you're like, you know, that I guess it reinvigorated you by being there, right? Like it sparked a fire. that you probably had
Yeah,
originally.
but
I mean, otherwise, why would you want
it's
to go
something
dance in a
that,
parade?
and it not everybody wants to be, dancing, and it's just literally, this is just women getting together it to create what most society doesn't give us, which is self-esteem in our own bodies and
Mm,
self-acceptance. And so this is just a way of introducing that into even because I also kind of wanted to work with the understudies for the folklorico, because a lot of them I see their posture is really bad, and so it's just like, if I was,
mm,
to just do this like self-esteem, like, no, carry yourself like this, look up, look at the audience, don't be afraid, but it's because women are so oppressed. They carry themselves, their body posture is very, they display how they
mm,
feel about
mm,
themselves. And so when you
mm.
feel confident, then you don't slouch. You don't, so I want to just you don't have to be a professional samba dancer. It's just, I'm just doing it via like a samba fit class.
Mm.
But basically the
That's
essential of it would be self-esteem improvement, and also body self-worth, and
and spread the love of samba with the values. Those are really good values to have, you know. So that's wonderful, man. I'm glad to hear that. Sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to keep you busy too once it gets going.
but for all you folks out there, she does have it. So when she was part of the LA community, she actually started a lot of things. Like, she had Brazil Day, and she helped run, just because she's so, just like how with us, with our Mexican folklorico, she does the same thing with Brazilian culture. And so when she moved to Florida, she also started a foundation, and so, I definitely want to include her in, once we put this out, people to follow her. Let me
Well,
see.
we'll put that in our links.
Yes, exactly. But she is Bella Samba, Bella CC, which is Community Empowerment Center. And
Mm.
so she's all about empowerment, and just empowerment of the Brazilian community, and letting people know about, because she's so passionate about it, and she just wants to share it with everybody. So,
Mm.
she's definitely super dedicated about that. So we definitely want to include all of the info and how you can support and help, and maybe even, learn some things.
Learn how to float, learn how to float, how to move, you know.
Oh, float, like on a float. I'm like, float.
Yeah. Wow. So that's amazing. Well, glad to have you back, Lala, now that you're back from Brazil. And maybe you guys will be hearing from us a little bit more often, and then we'll get to see how the samba school, the samba dance, samba fit things go. And we'll have some more stories for you. And,
Yeah,
it's been
I just
a
wanted
crazy
to.
end of the year.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of took like a mini vacation without even announcing that we are gonna take a little mini vacation from our thing. But I mean, we're trying to be more consistent. It's just that, sometimes life happens, and and then Lala can't move for months.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you go. That's what happened this past couple of months. Uh
Yeah, welcome back, folks, to what happened, and what happened in the past 3 months that we have not posted anything. So, I hope we didn't lose a lot of following, which we probably did, but we are trying, and we do try to come up with things that are interesting and important. And so, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions, any kind of topics you want to bring up, you have a crazy story, achievement, like I said, we're all about what happened to you, to the community, to whomever. So don't hesitate to email us and go on whahahappen.com to get all of our information on how to contact us, and et cetera, et cetera.
And, yeah. So there you go. Well then, folks, until the next time, this is Richmo.
And this is Lala signing off.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. To follow us, you can go to whahahappen.com for a link to all of our social media and to read our bios.
If you would like us to read your story,
may it be funny or scary or just some hot cheese mix,
please email us at stories@whahahappen.com.